Yeah. Got a new stream going. Actually, I don't even need these. Yeah. It looks good on this side, I ain't gonna lie. $10 super chats, all colors. We'll do it for an hour. What up? What up? Can you hear me? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yeah. ¿Hablas bien español? Sí. Soy un chico. Ah, sí, 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 sí. Soy un hombre. You know what I'm saying? But I speak a little bit of Spanish. Yo practicar. I don't know. I say like cuando viejo, like not viejo, viajamos. Like when I'm traveling, viajando. When I'm traveling, I practice a lot more Spanish. I am back to English. Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. My English is way better than my Spanish, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Is the music too loud or is it okay? I can turn it down. I'll turn it down just a little bit. You probably can't even hear the music. Yeah, I know more Spanish than I know anything else. So, how's it going today? Right now, I'm working on my filing my taxes right now. So, I'm not really on the. I'm not really paying too much attention. I just kind of wanted to go live while I'm doing this. Took the day off today to work on some music. Ooh, you got some music? That's cool. Let me see if I can. Okay. You got some music coming out? What type of music do you make? Mikhail TV 26. Okay. Well, you gotta get some content out there. I just went over to your channel. You know, I was looking for some music when you said it. I hate tax season. Yeah. I agree. Can I get some hundreds for hating tax season one time? Yeah, I just went over to your channel, checked out your page. I was hoping to see some music. You know? We love music over here. Damn, where did it go? Reopen close window. Yeah. Where is it? I will be posting some covers as soon as the project with the original music is ready to go. Okay. Yeah, let me know. Feel free to always pop back in. If you wanna promote your stuff, feel free. I'm always fair game to check out, new content, new things, maybe even something I can react to. Hi buddy, start. Okay, nah. Come on, man. People coming here on that weird stuff. It's all good, man. Yeah. Let me bring this over here. Y'all have to check your music out. It's dancehall with a little bit of pop. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'd like to hear some of that. Damn, boy, my phone is just going crazy. It's dancehall with a little bit of pop and R&B mixed. Ooh, that sounds like that might be. That sounds like that might be cool. I would probably listen to that. Yeah, that's cool. I don't really know what to say when it comes to your last comment, Mikhail TV 26. I don't necessarily believe you should adhere to anyone's particular advice when it comes to what it is that you want to do, when it comes to the direction of your channel and your content. I personally think that you should do what you enjoy first and foremost, and then attempt to cater to others. Like in my case, I attempted to cater to what it is I thought my demographic would have liked, on my channel. And it didn't necessarily go that well. So then I continued on and I pursued other recommendations from my audience. And then here we are today. So do what it is that is genuine to yourself, in terms of the, covers that you particularly enjoy. Start with that. Start what's passionate, because that'll come more natural. And then you can branch off and, get a little bit, dibble and dabble, tinker in some other genres, but start with what you love. It's better to, quote unquote, fail at the things that you enjoy than to suffer and find success in the things that you don't. That would be my advice. Yeah. I would just say, in the spirit of content creation, you want to, play to your strengths, you know, and don't be so serious with the covers. Don't be so serious with the things that you put out. I just do this as a side hobby, and I say that literally as I'm like doing taxes and doing some edits behind the scenes. You know, you never know how far it is you will go in your pursuits and in your efforts. But the one thing that does remain true is, you must be disciplined in whatever fashion that you participate in. So, and I absolutely hate doing taxes because it's just like, I'm not even sure if I'm doing this right. Do you have any other dependents or qualifying children? I have. I don't know if I should necessarily claim them. Let's see. I took that advice, which is why I'm still working on it. Still, yeah, absolutely. You want to absolutely follow your heart and pursue the things that are of interest. You don't want to be out here, you know, trying to adhere to everybody else's needs. I mean, you might even notice here on my channel, just to attest to just some anecdotal evidence. If you go back through some of my earlier reactions, there's so many comments that are just flooded with things that don't really interest me. And so I tried to cater to branching out to this and that, branching out to this and that. And, with time, eventually those requests will fade out. And if you're not monetized, like if there's nobody really incentivizing the things that you're doing, then you literally are not bound. And that's another thing too, is like once people actually start paying you for your services, then you have to be picky with the things that you opt in and opt out of, because $100 for somebody may be pennies, or drops in the bucket, and so you have to be careful with just kind of being strung along monetarily, where somebody could pay you, I don't know, $100 to do some nonsense, where it's like, is that really worth my image, my digital footprint, my time, stuff like that. I wanted it to be me in a way that I don't face burnout. Real quick. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to read that. Screen's really small over here since we're on a mobile, and I have the desktop pulled up, doing some other stuff. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be burnt out. even in my own particular case, I was uploading 3 reactions a day, and what that meant was in a one recording session, I'd have to record like 12 reactions a day. And if you know anything about reactions, you have to be on point. You have to be pretty much like lively and ready to go at a drop of a notice, or a notice of a drop, whatever it is. And so that gets really exhausting, especially when you're someone like myself that can be like high energy. So yeah, don't overwork yourself, especially if this is a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Especially if this is just something that's part-time. Like myself, I'm a 1099 employee with YouTube, so I do receive compensation. I do receive a check, but it's not my livelihood. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of take it easy as of right now. I will not do music reactions at all. No, I wouldn't recommend it personally. Even as a person who does music reactions, I wouldn't recommend it because of the CPM. The return on investment for being a reaction channel is relatively low. Whereas if you were educational or finance or even health and wellness are still higher on the tiers of ROI for your efforts. So like, I do these things because I enjoy it, because I've learned a lot culturally of different artists, but I wouldn't recommend anyone actually become a reactionary channel just because of the financial gain. It's kind of like telling someone like, yeah, I would recommend streaming, but when it comes to streaming, I recommend like particular paths, and there's anecdotal evidence, that reflects this. You can just get on like Google, for instance, and go to YouTube's payout, and you can see how much reaction channels get paid. A lot of YouTube, YouTube eats like 30% off of most people's plates already with subscriptions, and their reaction channels typically only get like $1 or $2 per every 1,000 views. So from that standpoint, it's like, damn, is it really worth what you're doing? So that's why you have to learn to do the 10% pivot. It's a video I have on the back burner that I'm going to speak to. Is, you may get yourself stuck in a situation or in a niche, and you may think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing covers, maybe I should be doing something else. But you have to learn how to pivot out of that without letting down your current audience. But if you don't really have anybody that you're, catering to, then just do what it is that you want. This makes sense. Yep. So I've learned a lot in my 4 months of content creation on this channel, and even more from the years of being on YouTube, just in general. So. But in future seasons, this will be more of a full-time job, and I'm super excited for that. So I'm super excited for that. Yeah, as of right now, we're just chilling. Yeah, great point. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, And if you have any more questions, feel free. I'm only going to be here for another 30 minutes or so because I have some other obligations. Yeah, I can only do this for another 30 minutes. I have some other things I have to go do. But 1 second. Yeah. I see how stan culture ruined just the entire experience. Hold on, let me turn this music down because I think you're getting to some interesting talking points that I would like to speak on. Let me just see where this music's coming from. Hold on. Okay, so you mentioned, I see how stan culture can just ruin the experience. Let me just change this from Caribbean real quick. I'm gonna put this on probably jazz. Let's put it on jazz for a little bit. Just something else. Something else for 2 seconds, please. Anyways, so yes, that is a remarkable stance and point. It's definitely sad when you realize how reaction channels, because I'm definitely not gonna call myself a reaction. I'm a reaction like content creator. Like, no, I've been a content creator on the landscape for years on other platforms, other channels here on YouTube. I plan to just record a series in a day and just have one video per week. Yeah, that's a good start. That's a good start. I would recommend more than that if you're capable of doing that and scheduling out your work, because if you can just record a series in one day, right? Why don't you do a series the next day, and the series the next day? And then, plan out your work where it is you have a video in the chamber at all times. So like for instance, I just got back from Orlando, Florida. I was down at the Rosen Center for a conference, and the entire time that I was gone, if you notice this week, I have videos that are uploaded and I look the same every day of the week. That's because I recorded those the Saturday before I left on Sunday. But anyways, to get back to your point, how stan culture can ruin the experience, especially in K-pop. So this is the problem. I myself am perceived as a servant in this regard. And it's unfortunate because content creators sometimes are uh, addressed and even perceived as less than, as though I'm some sort of puppet or clown in the public eye. Where it's interesting because I have a lot of other things that I have going on behind the scenes and a lot of other things that have even brought me to this point to come back to social media. So from that standpoint, I think people do a disservice when they make the request and they say you should react to this, you need to do this, and you need to do that, because ultimately all that it's really saying is, I need you to feed my fandom. I need you to fuel my, you know, um, my fandom through you. And so that's why I try to tell people that I'm not a pipeline. Like your interests shouldn't come through me to get what you ultimately wanted in the beginning. I try to be more of a prism, right? So that's why when people see the reaction that I do and the style that I do and even the layout that I do, what I do is it's very intentional. I want it to be very eye catchy. I want it to be very loud. I want it to be very different. I don't listen to the song all the way through like some people and they just bob their head the whole time and they give no real reaction. I stop, I give my anecdotal evidence, I give my commentary, I assess what it is that I see because I'm human. I've gotten a lot of blocked comments where a lot of people will come through and they'll be like, oh, you stop too much, you talk too much, you do this. And I literally don't care. I tell people, leave. Even like right now, if you don't want to be here, leave. We've already banned a couple people thinking that their messages would come through. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? So from that standpoint, yes, stands, the people that come through that are hardcore, that only really care about, let's say, a K-pop artist like Jenny, right? Or people that come in that only solely want to hear about XG, or I don't know, it's not K-pop, it's X-pop. God forbid that we get a title wrong on some of these artists. It's unfortunate that they come through with so much entitlement, as though I'm doing them a service, as though this is not a hobby. You know what I'm saying? As though YouTube is paying them to pay me. So it's silly. So anyways, yeah, hopefully that answers your question regarding the stand culture and how it has definitely ruined the experience. I mean, you can go back through a lot of my videos and I used to let a lot of the comments through, but I typically just block, ban, and delete these people these days. I just don't have the capacity for that type of energy, you know. So anyways, if I am super serious about it, then I may do more videos, but I just want to share my movie/series experience every now and then because my channel will be on vacation from time to time. That's fair. And I think it's good that you even tell people that this is a seasonal thing. This is just, Mikhail TV. It's like like you said, like seasons. You treat it like, hey, this series comes out August. You know what I mean? Expected to come out July next year, or well, maybe not August, but August, and then it'll come back out in the spring in like February, and then only expect like 2 or 3 months. Take a break, come back. You might actually build some more loyal fans in that regard. Or in the meantime, on YouTube, while you're not as active with the uploads and the editing and things of that nature, you can, go over to TikTok for that season of your branding. But don't feel obligated to do any of this social media shit. I mean, people are so sedentary as is, and it's sad because I know the reality of just social media as is, and yet and still I contribute to it adamantly. So it's like, damned if I do, damned if I don't, because people will still consume and people will continue to watch regardless of what it is that we bring to the table. Let's see. I feel because I don't really want money from it, so it is easy to come and go. You know, that is an interesting stance to have. You can say that you don't want money from it, but would you would you be upset if you gave me your Cash App and Venmo or whatever, and I just sent you $1,000? You may not want the money, but you would definitely take the money, right? So with that being said, we have to be realistic and objective in the things that we put out there because you never know what could pop off. Let me just give you an example. With your covers, you never know where these things can take you. I don't want to speak as though I'm braggadocious or as though I'm above and beyond, but you just never know if your cover could be seen by the original artist and what life-changing event could happen. We have so many people that are in the forefront that are definitely not the most talented, that are definitely not the most admirable individuals, but yet and still they made an effort, they posted, they uploaded, and they were seen. So never sell yourself short thinking that you don't want money from what it is that you do. You may deserve the compensation for your efforts. So never sell yourself short. That's all that I would say. You just never know. Never sell yourself short. You know? But I do appreciate you chatting, and I do appreciate the transparency. Oof. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut this.